Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Fred Harron, Harran. I'm the Director of Public Safety with Bensalem Township Police Department. To my right, as you know, we have Dave Heckler, the District Attorney for Bucks County, and Matt Weintraub, the Chief Deputy District Attorney, Mayor Joseph DiGirolamo, the Mayor of Bensalem Township, and over to our left, we have Amy Jean-Gonat, the Vice President and Director of Forensic Operations from Bode Technologies, based out of Lorton, Virginia, followed by Kelly Lewis, a supervisory forensic caseworker for Bode, and Stephanie Syvac, who is our training program coordinator or our lab technician, and also Leslie Watkins, a sales and marketing from Bode Technologies. As you know, in 2010, Bensalem Township, along with probably 8 or so other police departments throughout the United States, launched our own database for DNA collection and to run DNA samples for property crimes and other related crimes that we normally would not have access to. As you know, currently throughout the United States and in Pennsylvania, when DNA samples are taken and sent to the state lab, the CODIS lab, it takes anywhere from 9 to 12 months to get results back. If they even take property crime, you're talking about an 18-month turnaround period. To me, that's not fighting crime. That's not solving crime. That's not apprehending criminals. That's not doing any form of crime prevention. So we've partnered with Bode Technology in Virginia to do our local database sampling. So we went from 12 months to 30 days, which we thought were fantastic. What I thought we would never see, which we are seeing now in the last 2 weeks, is we are now doing DNA sampling in 90 minutes. We have a lab which we're going to show you and run some DNA for you in a few minutes. We're actually being able to bring DNA samples into the police station. They set up a laboratory here, working through their lab in Virginia, and they're running DNA samples, and we're getting results back in 90 minutes. Let me just give you a couple of examples. A couple sections of the town, a couple of neighborhoods within Bensalem Township, we're experiencing thefts of vehicles and thefts from vehicles. And we were able to get DNA off of all this. Just as we speak, within the last hour or so, we were able, through BodeHITS, link all these jobs together to show one suspect. We have a suspect in mind. The detectives have obtained a search warrant for that DNA, and they're serving it as this press conference is taking place, and we'll have this individual in custody momentarily. This person will not be able to commit any more crimes in Bensalem or throughout Bucks County or through the Philadelphia region because of this 90-minute turnaround. This is amazing technology. We're the first in the United States to execute this type of technology. I'm going to have the district attorney talk about another particular case and give his input on the program, and then maybe for some technical issues, we'll hear from Bode.
Bensalem is and has been a leader in this area, and we're fortunate to have them as part of Bucks County, and this, since I entered office, one of the things that has struck me very strongly is that southeastern Pennsylvania, the economic engine of this state, should have a DNA lab. Bensalem is sort of bailing out the whole rest of the region. Philadelphia has their own dedicated lab, but they're swamped with their own work. The state police lab, given the resources that are available to them, they've had to consolidate all into Westmoreland County, which, for those of you who don't know your geography, is all the way over by Pittsburgh. In solving particularly major crimes, minutes matter. Every second that goes by in a murder case, statistically less likely that we solve it. Having this kind of resource to be able to chase down possible, develop probable cause is going to be huge. And of course, Bensalem has been leading for the past 4 years in focusing on property crimes and in building a database so that you can you can take a sample from a vehicle and may well be able to match it to a sample that you've already tucked away, sort of a local CODIS kind of concept. This is the next step. This involves a much shorter time span, which has enormous potential for solving from the simplest property crime to potentially the most serious kind of crime.
Earlier today, as a matter of fact, I was meeting with Bode representatives, and one of the chiefs who's spearheading a movement in the other parts of the county to really expand this process that Bensalem has trailblazed on behalf of the county. So we're very hopeful that within the next month or so that at least 12 other departments are going to join in with Bensalem in forging a new bond and expanding our database. There's nothing wrong with the state database, nothing wrong with the state labs. They're excellent in the work that they do, but there is an urgency to solving crime shortly after it's happening. As DA Heckler referred to, we need to stay right on top of these criminals before they continue to commit more crimes. And with the assistance of Bode and the mobile lab and the rapid hits system, we're now able to stay on top of them within a turnaround time of 90 minutes. And I think that that's going to be critical. To give you an example of where we've expanded in the county has now utilized this resource at the granting of Bensalem's permission, and we've now solved a case that occurred in the prison where a couple of the prisoners that were in Bucks County Jail brought some contraband in. We were not able to associate it with a particular prisoner. We took some DNA from the suspects, and we were able to match it to an item of contraband. Case solved, 90 minutes. So this is not the wave of the future. This is the wave of the present. It is here now, and Bensalem is leading the charge. So criminals should take heed that we're no longer behind you. We're running right alongside of you, and we're going to catch you, and we're going to put you away.
Bode Technology is really excited to be partnering with Bensalem Township Police Department on the rapid DNA effort. We've been able to expand our laboratory to create a deployable lab right here at the police department. This is a pilot study to prove that DNA can help with the investigation in real time, not waiting to use DNA kind of later or right before court, but using it as a driving factor. It is one of the most important parts, can be, of identification materials. Bode has been working with Bensalem also on a local DNA database. This is to help with property crime initiatives and in solving crimes that happen by repeat offenders. And being able to use investigative leads in real time along with the property crimes is really important to help solve the crimes here in this township.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here today. And Bensalem is always on the cutting edge, and we try to do that for the right reasons. And certainly the technology and having the best police force, and I'm not being biased when I say this, in all of Bucks County. Dave, I don't know if you want to hear that or not, but I'm going to tell you anyway. And we have the best police men and women around that are dedicated their services to this community, and we in return are dedicated to them, to give them the tools they need to fight all this crime that's out there today. And I know this is another instance of cutting edge for Bensalem. We just went through a program we're starting on drugs, our war on drugs, that we think is cutting edge. And I just want to thank our men and women of our police department for the great work they do. And now with this new tool that we have, hopefully the turnaround will be very quickly. And with the assistance of the DNA, our men and women of this police department will make that work. So to our men and women of our police department, all the hard work and the Bode, the job that you're bringing here, thank you and God bless you guys.
There's a lot of questions on cost. Let me just tell you one thing. This is zero cost to the taxpayers of Bensalem Township. We are using drug forfeiture funds to pay for this initiative. So drug dealers' money is what's being used to lock up more drug dealers and more criminals. And as you know, as the mayor had talked about the current war on crime, 80% of our crimes are related to drugs somehow. So all these other criminals, people are breaking in their cars not to pay their mortgage bill. They're breaking in their cars to get their heroin and their Percocets and everything else. So it all comes back to drugs. So now we're using the drug money to combat this, to use it for this initiative. So it's a zero cost to the taxpayers of Bensalem or Bucks County.